Kamara? No. Why is that so hard to say? Stop saying really. Hey fellow fiction fanatics, I'm Chase. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up. I was able to read 4 books in January, and I have to say that I really started the year off strong because all these books are 5-star worthy reads. So the first book I read is Cinderella is Dead by Callan Bayron. This book is set 200 years after Cinderella's tale, but things have changed. Cinderella's story is doctrine, and now women must attend the ball and be chosen. They only have 3 chances to do this, or else they become forfeit. And Sophia, our main character, she wants nothing to do with this, and all she wants to do is run away with her best friend so that they can find some sort of happiness together. But the night of the ball, things don't go exactly as planned, and Sophia happens upon someone who might be able to help her take down the patriarchy. So this book got a lot darker than I expected, and I really appreciated that. I just really loved all the twists and turns that threw me for a loop and made me more excited to continue reading and figure out what was going to happen. And I have to say that Constance was definitely my favorite character. She was just so spunky and hilarious, and I really loved everything about her. In the beginning, I sort of could see where the story was going, and I was like, oh, this is kind of predictable. And then what I thought was going to happen didn't. And then the story just went a whole different direction, and that's really where it picked up for me. I was worried that I was just going to have to give this book 2 or 3 stars because of how it started, but because it flipped it on its head and went down a completely different path, I really enjoyed it, and because of this, I gave this book 5 stars. And it completed my challenge to read a book featuring royalty. The next book I read is Becoming by Michelle Obama. In this book, we get to learn about her childhood, her college life, her career as a lawyer, which I didn't know she did, meeting Barack, and how she really wasn't that interested in him at first, which I found to be hilarious, becoming a mother, and then eventually becoming the first lady. While I was reading this book, I marked down a lot of important quotes, and I learned so much not only about Michelle, but about history, and I would highly recommend reading the audiobook because Michelle Obama narrates it herself, and she has just the most soothing yet strong voice. It's just so beautiful to listen to, and I couldn't get enough of it. And although I'm not giving this a star rating, I would definitely recommend picking it up because it is definitely worth the read. And this completed my challenge to read a book written by or about a person of color, and this checks off both those boxes. Then I was able to read Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is the story of 2 half-sisters, Camino, who lives in the Dominican Republic, and Yahara, who lives in New York City. These 2 half-sisters have no idea that the other exists until their father dies in a plane crash. This was a fantastic novel, and these characters felt so real. I love that these 2 both have unique traits from their father, but are very distinct from one another and very much their own person. As always, Elizabeth Acevedo has stunning writing with a very strong emotional impact, and I very much enjoyed reading this book. I would definitely recommend reading this book while listening to the audiobook, one, because Elizabeth Acevedo narrates it herself, and because she's able to interweave both Spanish and English just in this phenomenal way. I know that on my own I would never do it justice. And thirdly, this is written in verse. I just think hearing it for yourself gives you that full experience. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I love Elizabeth Acevedo. She is one of my all-time favorite authors, and I will pick up and read everything and anything she writes. So this book is based on a true event that I had never heard of. I was 5 when it happened, but still. So this is about a true flight that crashed a little over 2 months after 9/11. This is the 2nd deadliest aviation crash in US history, but it was completely brushed over once it was deemed not an act of terrorism. This is a very prominent thing that happened, yet it was completely brushed over, and I very much feel we should have learned this in history. But I'm very glad that Elizabeth Acevedo wrote about this story that at least opened my eyes, and probably many others, to an event that they had no idea about before. So I gave this book 5 stars, and it completed my challenge to read a book featuring siblings. And last, but certainly not least, is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This book is just wow. So this is the story of Bree Matthews, who after witnessing a magical attack and a Merlin tries and fails to wipe her memory, she realizes that this may have something to do with her mother's mysterious death. So Bree decides to infiltrate this secret society known as the Order to find out the truth. This book was amazing. I can't stop gushing about it. It has a gorgeous cover, a black female protagonist, a magical competition. The characters and friendships are fantastic. The romance is swoon-worthy. It has both heartbreak and humor. It brings up important topics, and the magic felt so grounded and real. It was just stunning. I loved everything about this book. Just pick it up because it is amazing. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's so good. The only thing I dislike about this book is that I have no idea when the next book is coming out. I think it's sometime this year, but I don't know when. So if you know, please let me know, because I am dying to get my hands on the next book. It was so good. It's become one of my favorite books. I just can't get enough of it, and I'm so excited to continue with this series. So as you can tell, I gave this book 5 stars, and it completed my challenge to read a hyped book. And this book is definitely worth the hype. Alright, so those are all the books I was able to read in January. I'd love to know some of the books you were able to read, and if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. Especially if you've read Legendborn, because we need to talk about that. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to share the love. I'll see you next time. Bye!